It is Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for making us a part of your day. Coming up on the show, we're going to talk about potential defensive free agent targets for your Seattle Seahawks. I have three names specifically that we'll get to here in just a bit. Before we do, though, here's what I want to know to begin the show today. Give me a defensive player that is going to be a free agent that you think Seattle should sign. We know this defense needs help. Who comes to mind? And if you need a minute to go over and look at what free agents are going to be available, that's fine. But just get in that comment section. Tell me who you think the Seahawks should consider. Defense. We're going to break down three potential free agent defensive targets to help the Seahawks defense. Look, this year for this Seahawks team, it was a year where the offense was having to outscore teams, and they were not getting much help on the defensive side of the ball at times, in particular stopping the run. And what you need, what we've heard from John Schneider, is they want to build a champion caliber roster, right? They want to compete for the Super Bowl next year. Well, you might not have rookies be available for that to compete right away. So who are some guys that they could potentially look to on the free agent market? Well, Michael Bumpus, former Seahawks receiver, does radio in Seattle. He put a list together of three names. I want to go over these names, show you what Michael had to say about these three. Let's start with Tremaine Edmunds, the linebacker from the Buffalo Bills. And I got to tell you, Edmunds is going to be, I think, a sneaky value potentially for what he brings to the table. And at the middle linebacker position, remember, the Seahawks are likely going to be without Jordan Brooks for most of next year with the injury he suffered to his ACL late this past season. And you're looking at a guy that has been a two-time Pro Bowler. This past year wasn't his best season by any means. 13 games played, 66 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 interception. But of those guys out there for that position, for the middle linebacker spot, Tremaine Edmunds could be as good as it gets potentially of who the Seahawks could find for this position. Here's what Michael had to say in particular about Edmunds and the idea of bringing him to Seattle. I love this dude over there in Buffalo. He's great against the run. He plays downhill. You want violence in a football player. You look at the film on Edmunds, and you're going to see that. He had 66 solo tackles, 1 interception. He's valued at $12 million. Now, here's the thing for me. The $12 million, that's all you're looking at potentially spending? We know that the Seahawks are in a position where you still have to pay Geno Smith and some of these other guys. But I can go get my starting middle linebacker, a quality player that's a two-time Pro Bowler for $12 million. I like that idea. What would you do? Shout out John Quinones from What Would You Do on ABC News. Should the Seahawks sign Tremaine Edmunds? You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. Get your votes in. Type Y for yes, in for no. If you think the Seahawks should or should not sign Tremaine Edmunds, let me know in the comments section. Another name that we have not talked about on the channel that's new to this is Dre'Mont Jones, the defensive lineman from the Denver Broncos. And I tell you this, a little spoiler alert for these three positions I'm looking at today. It's all about the defensive line and about the linebackers, that front seven, those front seven guys. And Dre'Mont Jones would fill a big need with this Seahawks team that struggled so much to stop the run. You're looking at a guy that not only can stop the run, but he can get to the quarterback too. In the last 3 seasons, this is pretty impressive. You talk about consistency of what Dre'Mont Jones has brought to the table. Every year for the last 3 years, Dre'Mont Jones has had 6.5 sacks, 10 QB hits, and 7 tackles for loss. Last year, 13 games played, had 47 tackles, 6.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, former first-round pick out of the Ohio State. Dre'Mont Jones, I got to tell you, another guy, you play him in right away. This one makes sense as far as that goes. Let's hear what Michael had to say about Dre'Mont Jones as well. He had a 15.9% pass rush win rate. That's number 6th in the league. He's 26 years old. He's probably only going to be around $4 million. If you want to go on the cheaper end for a guy who produces, that's the guy you look at. $4 million? $4 million for a player of that caliber. That would be an immediate improvement for this Seattle Seahawks team. That's money well spent. That is a good bargain buy, my friends. Yes, do it. Do it, Seattle. Make this work. Of all the players today, this is the one that I could see being the most likely with the price at $4 million potentially. What do you guys think? Sign Dre'Mont Jones? Type S for sign. Type P for pass. Let me know in the comment section. You like the idea of bringing Dre'Mont Jones to the Seattle Seahawks? To me, this one is very intriguing. Let me know in the comment section. S for sign, P for pass on Dre'Mont Jones. Today's show is presented by BetUS, the exclusive sportsbook partner of Chat Sports. If you go to chatsports.com/bet, enter the promo code Seahawks125, you'll get a 125% deposit bonus. Put $100 down, you get $125 to spend for free. My guy Mark Sanchez, he was asking me if for Super Bowl Sunday, if he should be eating pizza or barbecue. And I got to tell you, with BetUS, with their deposit bonus they're offering, it's like buying a pizza and then getting an extra pizza and a couple slices for free. So, Mark, you can get your pizza paid for by our friends at BetUS, essentially. It's a great deal. You can bet on the Super Bowl here in a couple weeks, college basketball, my Jayhawks starting to put it together. That 3-game losing streak wasn't fun, but, hey, things are turning around in Lawrence, Kansas, hopefully so. NBA action, whatever you're feeling. Chatsports.com/bet, promo code Seahawks125 for your 125% deposit bonus. Last but not least, Daron Payne. And we held him for last because we've talked about him more than the other two on this channel. And you guys know the deal that we're big Daron Payne fans here on Seahawks Today. And a young guy was picked in 2018 out of the first round, and he is coming off a career year, the best of his entire time in the NFL so far to this point. Last year, a Pro Bowl selection. Granted, I know Tyler Huntley made the Pro Bowl, but for Daron Payne, still a big deal nonetheless. You can see him play dodgeball this weekend. He earned the opportunity to get to play dodgeball with some of the best players in the NFL because he played all 17 games, had 32 tackles, 11 and a half sacks. Huge jump for Daron Payne compared to what he did in the years prior. Also had a safety and had a fumble recovery this year. A career year for Daron Payne. The Commanders were a mess at times this year, but Daron Payne was a point of consistency there for the Commanders. Here's more from MB. He said he had 11 and a half sacks. He's 6'3", 320 pounds. And this guy can move, and he's powerful at the same time. He had a 12.7% pass rush win rate. That is 12th in the league. He's probably going to be valued around $14 million. You want to spend some money on a guy in the box, you go and get him. Now, the $14 million for him is interesting because, like we talked about with Geno, that you might have to choose between him and Daron Payne potentially. And, that could be a problem. You could probably say the same thing about Tremaine Edmunds for that matter, too. So is there enough money to go around? But all three of these guys, all of them, would be a massive upgrade for this Seahawks team as far as I'm concerned. If you got Edmunds, Jones, or Payne, it's unlikely you can get all three. But if you could get one or two out of the three, this defense, and we know John Schneider wants to get this team to a championship level. If you want to talk about championships, if you want to take this team to the next step, any of these three guys would help this team out a whole lot as far as I'm concerned. So before we get out of here today, folks, let me ask you this. If you can only sign one, and all things considered, I'm not one of those guys that's going to sit here and say if all things were equal, because all things are never equal. Okay, let's be real here. If you can only pick one to sign between these three, who are you going with? Dre'Mont Jones, Daron Payne, Tremaine Edmunds. If you're going with Dre'Mont Jones, type DJ. If you're going with Daron Payne, type DP. If you're going with Tremaine Edmunds, type TE. Let us know in the comment section below. And if either one of them sign, we're going to cover it here on the channel. Non-stop Seahawks coverage. It never ends here on Seahawks Today. Subscribe now for free. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. We'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today.